Hey guys, Tara here from Recovering Book Hoarder. Today is Sunday and I'm here to bring you my wrap up for this past week. I believe we're on week 14, finishing up week 14 of 2025. And I also have my March stitching stats since we are now well into April. Before I go any further, I would like to say congratulations to Amity over at Boomerang Stitches. Well, Hathaway Stitches is their FlossTube channel. I'm sure everyone knows that. Boomerang Stitches is her stitchy shop, her designer name. And she has been chosen as one of the guest designers to create an exclusive for this. I think it's called the Spring. It's either the Spring Mingle or the Spring Fling, hosted by Lindy Stitches for, I believe it's in May, coming up in May, one of her virtual events. She calls it Jingle Ball Light is what she calls it. So I'm super excited to see what Amity creates because I adore her as a designer. I think she's amazing. She really has a voice that I feel is very original. So congratulations, Amity, on being chosen as one of the designers for that. I have another congrats too, but I will do that one once I get into my whips. You'll understand why whenever I do that. Okay, I had a question this past week from Marissa McConnell in my comments, and I wanted to respond to that question publicly, which is what I told her I was going to do, because it was a good question, and I think I need to explain it so that other people don't feel... I guess I don't want people feeling bad because I have a high stitch count each week. So the question was, how do you do so many stitches in one week? And here's the thing. This is literally my only hobby currently. So times when like most people would be watching TV, reading a book, going outside and walking, going to the gym, cooking dinner, cleaning, I'm stitching instead. I do have a full-time job, but my stitching does come at the detriment of some other things in my life. I'll be perfectly honest. Whenever I get into something, I get hyper-focused, and it's like all I can think about. When I'm into reading, which for years and years and years, my hyper-focus was on reading. And by this time in the year, I would have read 40 books easily. This year I've read 2. On audio. And I think the reason I've become so hyper-focused on cross-stitch is my brain loves it. I talked about that a few videos ago, how my ADHD brain is like so scattered, especially on work days. It just feels like it's pulled in so many different directions. And my brain does not do well when it's pulled in a million different directions. I need like a clear path of what's supposed to be happening. And that's not how my work is at all, which is fine. But it was interfering with like my life after work because I felt like I couldn't concentrate on anything anyone talked to me about. I couldn't refocus on anything. So when I get home and I'm able to cross stitch, let's just say I cross stitch for a half an hour. I can feel my brain like rewiring itself so that it is able to focus in steps again. And I don't know if that's because I have to focus on the chart and really like, counts and placement. And it's just a way that my brain has to work to get it back in alignment almost. So that's another reason that I cross stitch and I hyper focus on that is it makes my brain feel really good. I can listen to things and not have to, like, it's weird because even though I need one thing to be doing, my brain also has to have something else like back here in the background going on. So for me, that's typically, lately it's been like true crime stuff on YouTube. And so I'm able to listen to it. I have tried to listen to more to audiobooks this year. Typically I was listening to audiobooks while I was stitching. It was great because it was like my 2 favorite things at once. I've just had a really hard time getting into books lately. I have tried and DNF'd so many books so far this year. There's only been 2 that I have read. and completed, and they were good. That was Onyx Storm, the new Imperium book, Rebecca Yarros, and the other one was a nonfiction book about dreaming. So I cross-stitch a lot, but it is to the detriment of other things. The other issue is I have a lot of health issues. One thing that's been going on is I have this like mouth thing. I typically, I edit it out so you guys don't see it because it's really embarrassing, but it's almost like a tick. It happens much less in the morning, which is why it's better for me to film in the morning. I can't really wait until later on because I have a lot more editing out I have to do then. But it seems like the more I talk throughout the day, so work days are like no good at all. The more I talk throughout the day and the harder I have to think about something, the more this mouth thing happens. And it's like, it does these like movements. I want to compare it to like a tick or a stutter or something like that. It's very frustrating. And on days when I'm talking a lot, so especially on work days, by the time I get home, my mouth physically hurts from this thing that it does. So even like talking to my husband and my daughter, I just get so frustrated. So like I'll like start talking, it'll happen, I won't be able to get it to stop. Now my daughter will always say, okay, Mom, stop, you need to stop. Stop, think about what you're saying, like refocus. But it's painful, it's frustrating, and so I tend to isolate a lot. It takes a lot for me to leave my house. Yeah, my husband and daughter tend to come into my room, and we'll sit here and they talk to me. I don't do a whole lot of talking back, and that's why, because it's just, it's so frustrating. So that's another thing. Then one more reason I do a lot of cross stitch. I also am a very fidgety, I'm sure you've noticed it in my videos. I'm always like doing something with my hands. I'm a very fidgety person, and I pick a lot. So like I will pick at my skin. It's embarrassing to say. But I'll pick at my skin, and if I'm not doing something with my hands, so if I'm just watching TV, or if I am just reading a book or something like that, my hands have to be doing something. Typically it's like picking something at myself, like picking at my skin, at my scalp. Like it's, not good. It hurts. I can get infections. It's not good. So when I'm cross stitching though, none of that happens. My hands are completely engaged, and so there is no picking happening whenever that occurs, and it's given my skin definitely a chance to like de-inflame itself almost. So that's why I stitch so much. My house is not clean. I rarely cook. Yeah, I stitch. So it is to the detriment of other things. So don't think, man, I'm so jealous because she stitches so much. Your house probably looks much better than my house does. You probably have a much better social life than I do. You probably have other hobbies that you engage in. So that is the long answer to how I'm able to stitch so much. So please don't ever feel bad whenever you see my stitch counts. Sometimes I'm actually like embarrassed of how much I've stitched. Yeah. So anyway, so thank you for that question, Marissa. I thought that would be a good one for me to answer for everyone in general. Now that 9 minutes are gone, this is going to be maybe a more lengthy episode. I had told you guys I was trying to do an Alice extra, FlossTube extra, to start out my Alice stitching month for my birthday. I will I'll do that after. In any case, anytime I think I'm going to be able to film more than once in a week, I'm crazy. Like, because it cuts into other things I'm doing, stitching. It cuts into my stitching time. So once the first came and went, I just decided, okay, I'll just go ahead and do a special segment in this episode. So I will put that towards the end. Okay. One more reminder. Don't forget, on my last episode, on my last FlossTube last week, I'm currently running a contest to win the Lady Dot creates Nashville market exclusive zip-it pull called Favorite Things. Let me show you guys what that looks like again. I love it. I got one for myself also. That's a moon here, covered by this pearl. See? Oh, there we go. Moon, star, pearl, crown. Yeah, crown. So you can use this as a zipper pull, or you can use it as a scissor fob if your scissors are small enough. So if you want to enter this, you need to go over and watch my video from last week, which I will do a little card thingy up here so that you can get to it easily if you have not already done so. All right, now moving into the stitching. So I had 2 new starts this week. The first one was my planned start for the week, which was, you know, I spin a wheel each week. I have 52 planned starts for the entire year. Every Sunday I spin a wheel for what I'm going to start that week, and it's New Start Sunday. So this last week, oh, sorry, pictures are over here. This last week, it was Woman of the Water from Una Buena Pieza, and it was from the X Stitch magazine, which is a digital magazine. I'm assuming it's still available. I used to get a subscription to it. I don't anymore, even though I did love it. So this was the chart. I am doing my own conversion on this. I am doing it on a piece of 14 count opalescent Aida from Charles Craft. And here's where we got. This is actually a really enjoyable stitch. It's not a ton of colors. I have chosen I think it's all Fancy Floss for my conversion. And I just love this lady. Isn't she good? I love her blue skin. Yeah. So that was my start. This has been really enjoyable to work on. I did 813 stitches on here for the day that I did the new start. Then I wanted to work on it some more, so I spun my random wheel and I got 800 stitches. And then for I Spy, one of the prompts is water, so I did 200 stitches for that. I Spy is Laura over at Stitching by the Shore. It's her monthly cross-stitching game that she puts out. And then for categories, I did... What did I do for categories? Let's see. The letters this time are O and T. I think what I was going to do was, I'm trying to think, I'm pretty sure. So for color, because I'm using opalescent fabric, I was going to use that for my color. So that was my category. Look, you can kind of see it there. So that would be this 200 for categories. So that was New Start number 1, total of 2013 stitches. My second New Start I did for my Alice Stitch Along. I'll put the what's that called? Hashtag that I'm using down here. Stitching through, I think it's called hashtag Stitch Wonderland, Sal. It's going to be down here. In any case, this is the Cheshire Cat from Mrs. Pagodi Arts, which I will put up here because I don't have a printed out picture. And I got started on the border. I am doing this on a piece of 28 count Monaco from Charles Craft that I got off of Amazon. I'll have a link down below. It was a great deal. For $60, I got 12 of the, I mean, this is how big it is. 12 of these giant, I think it's like 20 by 27 maybe. It's big. I thought it was a great deal. So this is what I like to do my Mrs. Pagodi on. So I, just a small start because right now the fabric's very stiff and it was like seriously hurting my carpal tunnel hand. So this is what I got done, 388. And I also use this for I Spy. The prompt was something with the letter C. And so Cheshire Cat is definitely the letter C. So that is where I got. And I was able to get the floss for this and for the Mad Hatter by Mrs. Pagodi Arts with, I think I told you guys last week that my friend Jackie unexpectedly gave me a Michael's gift card, and I was able to get all the floss for these with that gift card, so that was very exciting. Very happy about that. All right, then let's move into our whips. So first I focused on getting my Monopoly calls done. I play Monopoly with Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter. So every 2 weeks she does new Monopoly rolls, and based on what is landed on, that's how you decide what you're going to stitch and how many stitches. So my first one, so this is not her most current, she did new calls on Thursday, which I haven't even checked to see what those calls are yet. I'll be working on that this week. So the first one is the Fab 50 sale, which is from Abby Sue Designs. And this was a stitch along that was put out for Disney's 50th anniversary, I think it was. Maybe it was Disney World's 50th anniversary. The most magical celebration. And it had, let's see, 71 to 21. So it must have been for Disney World's 50th anniversary, 50th park anniversary. And it is modeled off of the 50 gold statues that are still in the park today. They're actually interactive statues that if you have a magic band, you go buy them and they do different things. This is going to take forever for me to do. Like I said, it was just 100 stitches on it this time. First, let's look at my fabric, because this is like the most perfect fabric for a Disney, because it looks like a Sully slushie. Tell me that is not the perfect colors of a Sully slushie. It's going to be huge. This is one where the back stitch is the magic. So like, for example, this is Goofy, and you can see he's not back stitched here. Not done, but he's also not back stitched. Here's Pluto, and he is back stitched. And how magic does that back stitching make him? It's perfect. Whenever I have these little ones of like 100 or 50 or something, I am using that as time to work on the boring outlines. So I'm sorry, the outlines of the stuff is boring. The characters are the fun part. So what I did my 100 stitches in this middle box here. That's actually 100 stitches. So 100 stitches isn't much, but it's progress, and it's more than I had before. And I love the Monopoly game because I know that the items I've picked for Monopoly to work on are absolutely going to get worked on this year for a pretty decent amount. I believe this is, I know that for sure it says Picture This Plus. I think it might be 18 count. And I don't know what the color is, unfortunately, because this was before I was like writing that down. But it's a perfect color. Oh, and you can't get this anymore either. Abby Sue Designs, I believe, if somebody knows whether or not I'm wrong, you can correct me in the comments. I believe she no longer designs Disney at all. And she had some amazing Disney charts. I'm guessing that there was like, you know, Disney will go after people for licensing purposes. All right, next up is Shakespeare quotes. And this is where my next congratulations comes in. So I got a text last night from Rainy over at Rainy Day Reads. We started this as a stitch along together for Shake-tober. I always confuse whether it's Shake-tember or Shake-tober. In 2022, we started this. And Rainy texted me last night. She finished it. And I just want to say congratulations, Rainy. I am so excited for you. I am jealous because I'm still working on it. And just a huge accomplishment because she definitely wanted to finish it sooner rather than later. And I'm in the same boat. I want to finish this year. So this is a design from Taylor and Cromwell. Looks like this. Some of my favorite quotes of all time are in here. Black fabric is not my favorite. I am getting better with it, for sure. Like, I don't despise it the way I did whenever I first started working on the black fabric. I believe this is 18 count. It's an 18 count Ada I had gotten off of Amazon. So I got an additional 100 stitches on here. That's where we are. And the 100 stitches were in price. Right here. We're in letters from this word. There's 100 stitches there. Believe it or not. I don't even think mine's halfway done. Definitely have worked on it several times this year so far. Really, really want to get it done this year. But again, congratulations, Rainy. I am so jealous. Looks so good. Okay, after that, I pulled out my Alice sampler. So since it is my Alice month, I decided I wanted to work on this as my focus piece for Whip Warriors group, which is a closed group currently over on Facebook. It will open again in November. You have to participate in this group. You are required to get what's called 3 threads each month, and 500 stitches equals 1 thread. You have to do before and after pictures. It is a counting event. It is a ton of fun. I really love it. I like having goals to work on. So each month there's a focus event, and you get to pick one of your pieces to focus on with the goal of getting essentially like 1,500 stitches on it over the course of 4 days, I believe it is. So first of all, I had 300 stitches I had to do on this for Monopoly. Here's what it looks like over here. This is from Al Forest Embroidery. It was a free stitch along over there. I'm not sure if it's still free or not. Can't believe it was free because it's amazing. So that's what it looks like. I had to do 300 stitches for Monopoly. And then for the focus event, I ended up doing 2,233 stitches. So a grand total of 2,533 stitches got done on my Alice piece, Alice sampler. I am doing my own conversion. Oops. This is another BAP of a piece here. If you don't know what BAP is, BAP stands for Big Awesome Project. Here is where I am now. So my progress for this time, I did, so I did down here, I did the cats. I did the cat. I did, the only thing I had, so ignore this part up here, that was already there. I had this guy, and this thing done. Everything else is new. And then I also worked on, so I think this was an additional 3 sections that got done. This part, which is going to be so fun next time I pull it out, because this is going to be the Mad Tea Party table. So all of this is new up here. And then I added in this part here, and this was also added in. I am using Sulky for doing this, and it's on a 16 count Heritage Ada from Picture This Plus. Now I just want to show you, I'm using, for most of the flowers, Sulky does have variegated in addition to solids, and they're number 4007 of their 12 weight petites. Okay, this is what it looks like. That's the variegated color. You know how in the animated movie, the cards are painting the rose bushes, and they end up all kinds of crazy, with like craziness colors. So that's why I chose what I did for this. And look at how good that is. It looks like the roses have been painted crazily by the cards. So I think that's perfect. And then I also really love this blue. This is a variegated blue. I like doing variegation for flowers because obviously, you know, flowers are not typically like one random color. So this is number 4055. Looks like that. The variegation is very subtle, but whenever you have it on the thing, but it looks so good. And that is these blue flowers here. Doesn't that look great? I just adore Al Forrest embroidery. I love Sulky. There's just like nothing I don't love about this one. So 2,533 stitches of progress on my Alice sampler. Okay, next up, Knight and Castle. This is from the Stitching Spell. I had 400 stitches to do on this for Monopoly. I have a picture of this somewhere. Oh, here it is. This is what happens when things don't get put away after taping. This is what it looks like. Excuse the shaking. I'm not doing this in monochrome because I'm not a monochrome stitcher. I have one thing I did in monochrome, and I doubt I'll ever do anything in monochrome again. I love seeing other people's monochrome. I prefer color, and I love whenever things are charted monochrome because it means I can go crazy and do whatever I want with the color story. This is Picture This Plus. I'm not sure. I believe this is a 16 count Picture This Plus. I'm not sure what the color is. 400 stitches on this. So here is where I got, and I believe, if I remember correctly, I worked in here. I think I finished another page and added in these things down here, plus was able to connect that border because I had it like going up this way and coming down this way, and so it connected, which is always thrilling whenever something connects. I have decided that these items flying in the sky, those are not birds, those are dragons coming in from very far away. Isn't this awesome? It's going to be a tapestry, and I adore it. So a total of 400 stitches on Knight and Castle. One of my oldest whips. This was actually 2020 is when this came out. All right, up next, my first whip go for this month was to do an additional page on 10 Dual Commandments from Taylor and Cromwell. This is from the musical Hamilton, a song that lives rent free in my head, as I tell you guys every single time. So like I said, the goal was to complete another page on this, which I did, which ended up being a total of 1,044 stitches for an additional page. This is my progress. Yay. I'm so happy because this is another one that's been out there on my list for a long time. So this entire top now, there's 4 complete pages done there. The page I finished was this one over here. And I'm so excited to have this done. This is over halfway done now. So I'm really hoping this is going to be a finish this year also. Looking good. All right, and then the last item I worked on, this is my Lent stitch. This is from the Just Cross Stitch Spring magazine, and it is from Franny Renner Designs. He has risen. I am doing my own conversion on this, on a piece of Arctic Fox from Fox and Rabbit. This was from one of their Fabric of the Month Club. This originally calls for quite a few threads. I'm only using 4 different floss colors because of the wonder of variegation. Oops. So I did a total of 1,496 stitches on here. Got all of the outline completed. So that is all outlined. Got the words written in towards the bottom, and then added in the stuff along the sides here, pink, and then this pink and this purple I added in. I'm really hoping to finish this during Lent. It's just fill-in now, so yeah, Make it so pretty. And this is such a good, I love that purple. I love the blue. And those are both Gentle Arts. The purple is Sugar Plum and the blue is Blue Jay. And those are beautiful, beautiful flosses. All right, so pretty sure I did not say it at the beginning. Grand total stitches for this week. I should also say I took off, before I say this number, I took off Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week. And my intent for that was to stitch during those days. So I got extra stitching this week. So I stitched a total of 8,074 stitches this week. And then for March, my grand total stitch count was 31,215 stitches. Okay. What's next? I do have notes for myself this time to keep me on track for where I'm going. All right, let's do our Alice segment next. Which, actually, hold on, because I need to grab one of my whips to show y'all. Okay, so during this month, which is my birthday month, I will be 44 on April 18th, which I just read a statistic that said there are 2 particular years of everyone's life where they have like a spurt of aging all at once. And apparently 44 is the first of those 2 spurts. So we're really looking forward to that. Because already everything hurts and I've got like ailments and anyway, I'm not one of those people that dreads birthdays because I always say like, what's the alternative to not getting older? So totally cool with my birthday. I don't typically like do anything special. Although my mom did just tell me that she's going to take me shopping for new clothes because she's sick and tired. My entire wardrobe is made up of, I would say 75% is Disney t-shirts. From Disney parks, Disney t-shirts and sweatshirts. Then the other 25% is like just other t-shirts I've bought from places and random sweatshirts. So she's sick and tired of seeing me in that. And the reason is because I lost a lot of weight. And so my nicer shirts are all way too big on me now. And anytime I've just purchased t-shirts. My mom like really desperately wants me to see me in not just Disney t-shirts all the time. So she told me we're going to go shopping for my birthday. So I'm pretty excited about that. Totally off the subject there. Okay, let's get back to the Alice segments. So I adore Alice in Wonderland. I love Alice as a character, but she's not my favorite character. My favorite characters are the Mad Hatter, I adore him, and the Cheshire Cat. The Cheshire Cat, if you put the Cheshire Cat together with the caterpillar, that would be like my spirit animal. And I just really identify with the Mad Hatter. So I love that. Wonderland to me is like the epitome of fantasy. I think it's probably the very first fantasy I was ever introduced to. And when I was a young child in the 80s, there was a made-for-TV Alice movie. I want to say it was like 1986 maybe. It was 2-part and I absolutely loved it, adored it. So it was live action and that was kind of my introduction to Alice and it just sticks out so much in my head and I think that's why I love fantasy to this day. But I adore Wonderland. So I thought, why not focus on Alice in Wonderland for my birthday month, in which I will give myself permission to work on all of the Alice just whenever I want and to start whatever I want that is Alice. So to start off this segment, I figured I would show you guys 2 of the Alice finishes that I have had since I came back to stitching. So the first one, I'm pretty sure that this was Bendy Stitchy design. And I don't know why I thought there were Smyrna crosses in here. Now I'm not seeing them. In any case, I think this is Bendy Stitchy. And I think it came in the Alice in Wonderland Stitchy box from Stitchy Box a couple years ago. I think this is so good. Absolutely love it. I'm pretty sure I did this all as charted. And then another finish I had This was from Poppy Creations. Isn't this good? Oh, I love that fabric so much. It was a Picture This Plus. And this was another one from a Stitchy Box Alice, the Stitchy Box Alice one. It says, "Who are you?" And I just think that the colors on this against that fabric are amazing. And again, pretty sure this is as charted. So those are two of my bigger, my Alice finishes. Look at this caterpillar here. How cute is he? There's just so much here. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so those are two finishes I wanted to show you guys. Okay, so in progress, you guys saw out the Alice sampler, and you saw a Cheshire Cat that I started. I also have from Bella Filipina, I have the Mad Tea Party, which looks like this. And I am doing some adjustments. I am doing a lot of it as charted, but I'll show you why I've made changes. But so, back up for a second. Cassidy and I went to Columbus, Ohio last summer to see Melanie Martinez. That was her big Christmas gift. She loves Melanie Martinez. And I really wanted to do a chart to commemorate that trip. And there is a song called Mad Hatter. And in the song, it's all about, you know, the Mad Hatter. And in there, they say all the best people are crazy. So I think this Alice, even though it's Alice, I think she looks like a gender-bent Mad Hatter. So I'm going to change it to say Mad Hatter instead of Alice. And then down here, I think I'm going to do it down here. I'm going to chart all the best people are crazy down here. And so this is my Melanie Martinez concert commemorative piece for those reasons. I, at first, was not going to use the cray neck. But I did decide I am going to now use the cray neck, with the exception of it was cray neck for this board, the trellis here. I didn't want to do that much cray neck. But some of the, like the fuchsia in here is cray neck. I did end up getting it to do that. And I have all the beads and everything. So I have mostly everything is charted. I did change because of my fabric also. I'm doing it on 14 count lupine from Picture This Plus, which is a very good color. You can see my trellis. I ended up doing a very, very different, it's blue and not brown at all. So this is where I am progress-wise, but I definitely plan on working on her. Lots of color changes, but oh, it looks so good. Like, look at that teacup there. So fun. And then there's it's just the color changes bring depth. I mean, look at those branches. So I don't have a whole lot done, but hopefully I will be able to make some additional progress this month. So that is my current Alice whips I have going. Next year there'll be a lot more because you'll see I'm about to show you what I have in stash. So, why did I put that there? This can stay out. Okay. So I'm going to put up here, this is the Mad Hatter from Mrs. Spaghetti Arts. This is the other one that I've recently purchased that I absolutely plan on starting. My birthday start, so April 18th, I am going to start, Lena Ova has 2 Wonderland. I'm going to start this one first, because this one has the Mad Hatter in it. And then here is the other Lena Ova. I'm not sure I'm going to start the second one this month. I might, but for sure starting that first one. Then for my birthday last year, Cassidy got me this Cheshire Cat from Creatively Crafting. And I definitely want to start that one this year. It's gigantic. It is like 500 by 300 or something like that. I think I'm going to use the Easy Grid that I have to frog out from the Greg Olson full coverage that I had FFO'd a couple weeks ago. the Jesus smiling one, I counted, and I believe that is going to be big enough. So I'm going to, I have to frog that. Or I might just flip it upside down and worry about frogging it later. We'll see. So I'm pretty, and it's full, I mean, it is full coverage. It is a lot of stitches. Did not realize that whenever I received it. It was just whenever I looked at it, I was like, wonder if I have anything that'll fit this. And I saw 500 stitches. I'm like, oh my gosh. Did take a gander at the pattern. Although there are a lot of colors in this chart, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of confetti. So we'll see. So I plan on starting this also. Then I have the set of Brooks books. It's my only Brooks books pattern that I was lucky enough to get my hands on before, you know, because she passed and her husband had to unfortunately take down the shop. This, I'm going to put up here like a color of what it looks like, because all I have is the printed out black and white. So hopefully I'll put up here in color what it actually will look like when it's completed. So there's 4 pieces for that. Hoping to start at least one of those. And then I'm going to put up here, I don't have it printed out. I can't remember. I'm going to put up here the set. I want to say there's 5. They're like bookshelf ones. I'm thinking Soda Stitch, but that might not be it. So I'm going to put the picture and the designer up here. Got them off of Etsy. So I have those. I'd like to get those started. And then I also have Alice Lace Silhouette from Nenny Design, which looks like this. Haven't thought too much about it. I don't want to do black, so I'll probably pick a different color for the background. Actually, this is, all that black is stitched. Haha, strike that. All that black is stitched. I will probably choose a different background and eliminate having to stitch that black background, because that's a lot of, I don't know. We'll see. It's a good chart though. And then I have from the Fables and Fairy Tales to Cross Stitch, French Charm for your stitch work. There is an Alice piece in here. And it is very charming. So let me try and show this to you without showing you the chart. Let's see. Let's do this. Because the chart's the whole second page. Here is what it looks like. Isn't that cute? So a little French twist to Alice in Wonderland. So hopefully we'll be able to get this one started as well. And it doesn't look huge. There's some back stitch. It's not like ridiculous. There's some French knots, which I typically try to replace French knots with either, and this is a hint from Karen over at the Stitching Owl. Instead of doing a 4, you know, up over for a cross stitch, she does, to mimic French, and she does French knots, but for her, sometimes she'll do for like eyes and buttons and things like that. It's up over, and then up over. So instead of like 4, it's an 8, and it just gives it enough dimension to kind of make it look like a French knot a bit. I'm terrible at French knots. I'm so bad at them. And sometimes I'll use a bead in place of a French knot. So that is what I have in stash, that I would also, hopefully I'll get several of those started over this month. Okay, I want to show you guys 2 books from my collection. This is my absolute favorite. This is an illustrated edition that was put out by Mina Lima. They are the ones that did a lot of the art for the Harry Potter movies. It's a illustrating team. And this has like interactive sections. Like, look, here's her feet move. You can make her taller, bigger, and just the illustrations in here are gorgeous. There's like pull-outs, Let's see. Like here's Tweedledee and Tweedledum. And you can switch their heads. Oops. See, it's stuff like that. But this, it's just absolutely beautiful. I mean, just the borders on the pages. Like, look at this. Here's a chapter. Oh, love it. Mina Lima, I'm pretty sure they're like my favorite illustrators. So I have this book. Then I also have Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. This is like a manga cover. I just think she's pretty. I think it's gorgeous. And look at that, Cheshire. So good. The back. So those are two of the books I have in my collection. And then I want to show you guys my pins. So I am a pin collector. Started with Disney pins and has quickly branched out to I just love all the pins. So currently I have two. This one's completely filled. But I just kind of want to point out my Alice ones. So I have this one here. I have this one. I have this one. This one, she like floats, this moves around. She's in the glass here. All of these are Alice. You can see. I just like the black and white. I think it's super pretty. I think that's it on this one. And then this is the newest pin banner I have going. I found this pennant in the Universal store at the airport in Orlando. Isn't that fun? So, okay, Alice on here. This was the Disney Visa collector pin that I was able to get when we were in the park two trips ago, I believe. And I think that's the only one I have on here. Yeah, so those are my Alice pins. I love pins. I don't actually trade because I buy the pins that I want. So I don't trade when I'm in the parks because I don't want to get rid of any of my pins. And then that's usually the souvenir I'll have people come bring back for me whenever they go to Disney without me, is pins. So that's my pin collection. Then just a couple of pieces of decor I wanted to show you guys from my room. Cassidy tends to buy me Alice in Wonderland stuff. So she got me this Cheshire cat. Isn't he cute? So he usually sits back here. You usually get to see him in videos. And then for Christmas this year, she got me this amazing printed Evil Cheshire. And oh God, I love him. How cute is he? So good. Look at the coloring. And so he usually hangs up here. So if you ever wondered what this was, that's my 3D printed Cheshire. Then these are from the Disney park, my teacups. Two different ones. This is actually my second one of this one because the first one I dropped at work and it just all over, went everywhere. And so my husband and daughter had gone to Disney and he got it for me as a surprise to replace it with. Luckily, they still had it. And then this one from the same collection. And so these actually sit up on my shelves. You don't usually see those. And then this you definitely don't see because it's at the very top of my shelf. This is a Jim Shore Alice. I got this as a birthday gift from one of my friends 2 years ago. Oh, I think it had been for my 40th. I think this is so good. Love it so much. So this sits at the very, very tippy top of my bookshelves. So that's a couple of my Alice decorations. And then I'm going to hopefully be using, I showed you guys my new needle minder. Can hopefully be using this throughout the month too. So that is my Alice segment. I love Alice. I hope you are going to join me. Again, I will put the hashtag that we are going to use. Just stitch anything Wonderland this month. And if you're on Instagram, please make sure you tag me over there so that I can see what you're working on in your progress. If you have a FlossTube and you're going to be showing it on there, please let me know what the name of your FlossTube channel is so I can come over and take a look if I'm not already subscribed to you, if you're not on my radar yet. All right. Moving into haul. So, some more of my market stuff came in. I think now, I'm pretty sure all of my market haul is here. And that includes the piece that I am most excited about. So let me show you that first. So the piece I was most excited about for this market is from Cosford Rise Stitchery, and it's called Cicada's Song Sampler. And I think it is amazing. She's a big one. Isn't that beautiful? All right, so I got that. And then I got the Jean Farish Alphabet Workbook. So this has 34 uppercase alphabets, 24 lowercase, 26 number sets, some blank graph paper, how-to instructions, and lots of tips. So great for if I decide to make my own sampler at some point, but also for whenever I have to substitute in my own text and I'm changing things out in samplers, I thought this would come in very, very handy. All right, so got that. Then I'm not a big, I don't particularly enjoy stitches about stitching. However, this one, I felt this one deep in my soul. And this is from Cricklewood Crossing. And if you listen to what I said at the beginning of my video about how it just tickles my brain and brings it into focus. This one says, Hocus Pocus, I need stitching to focus. And as soon as I saw it, I hit purchase because I thought that is me through and through. All right, then from Summer House Stitchworks, she is now doing a Halloween edition of Fragments in Time, her Fragments in Time series. I know that this is already, the 4 pieces are out completely over at Grand Stitchery because I believe it was an exclusive for their Stitching in the Wild. I think it was for Stitching in the Wild. If not, it was an exclusive they did for something. Maybe it was their Halloween box. In any case, she's now releasing it for general sale. You can get the whole thing over at Grand Stitchery right now, though. But these are the 2 she has out so far. I love this house. It's gorgeous. So got those. Then I got my very first ever Tiny Town because I fell in love with the Nativity, which is her her latest. I think that's just beautiful. So my first Tiny Town. And then Ducks in the Orchard from A Gardener's Needle. And all of these I have purchased from Millennial Fabrics. Wonderful. My favorite ONS and amazing customer service. Amazing. Sarah's great. And it's because of her that I bought this pattern. Because of her describing it in one of her lives. So, isn't that fun? And again, I adore a good house. But I love the keys that are up here. I thought that was kind of different. And I like the ducks there. And the chicks. I don't know. I just thought it was different. I like the gate. Very pretty. So that's the rest of my market haul. Then, my fabric of the month I am in Grand Stitchery's Fox and Rabbit Fabric of the Month Club. So for, I want to say this is this month. I think this is, I'm not sure if this is March or April. This is for the one I pay for at the end of March. March 25th, I think see that? I pay for it at the end of March. I think it's April, so. So anyway, this is called Duxbury. It's not a good color. I adore Fox and Rabbit. Their colors are just ones I can have in stash and work for like so many different things. Okay, so that arrived. And then I got an order in from 123 Stitch. So 123 Stitch had a sale on their Sulky. And so I went and got a lot, whatever they had in packs, I went ahead and purchased. So I got this is like the black, I would call it like the black, oh yeah, black gray pack. And those are the colors. The 50 yards on each of these. And one, if you don't know, and you're using Sulky for the first time, one strand of Sulky is equal to 2 strands of DMC. It's really like a 1.5 conversion, but on here it says 1 strand equals 2 strands of floss. Okay, then I got the winter collection, and that one has a variegated in it. And the autumn collection. Another variegated. Most popular colors collection. I figured this was like the easiest way to get the most variety. The spring collection. The summer collection. If you haven't used Sulky, I don't know what you're waiting on. I really love Sulky for my Owl Force embroidery pieces. This is the red work collection, all different reds. The neutrals. Sorry, I've got some glare. A greens collection. Many welcomes collection. This was for use with Rosewood Manor's many welcomes kit. And this was a pack that was put together for a hands-on design kit called Give With My Heart collection. So those are my Sulky packs. Then I also picked up another black because, you know, can't have too much black. And eggshell. It's like 1071 is the number. It's not white. It's more like a cream. And then I had to get an eggshell from Classic Colorworks for my Jack Frost Tree Farm because I ran out. So those came. Then, so my favorite thing about my birthday month, I am a member of a birthday gift exchange book exchange. So each month, there's one person from each birthday month. And when it's not your birthday month, you send the birthday month person a book or two off of their wish list, their Amazon wish list. So you get a minimum of 11 books in the mail in your birthday month. So I've been doing this. This is my 3rd year doing this, and it is so much fun. So the packages started arriving, I want to say on the 2nd, I got my first package. So far, I have received gifts from 3 of the individuals. And of those, I have so far received 3 cross-stitch pattern books and another book that I want to show you guys that I had been alerted to by B from Stitching in Tea with B, right? I love her. She has the greatest voice. think that's what it's called, Stitching in TFB. She'll be tagged down below. I'll show you that one first. So she had gone on the stitching cruise recently, and one of the books she had picked up because she was inspired to from there, Stitching at Sea, FlossTube at Sea. Anyway, color astrology. So for each date, there is a color assigned to it for birthdays. And I just thought this was really neat. And it gives me some ways to, like, if I'm doing a gift for my nieces or something, I can add in their birthday color to help represent something in there and things like that. So my particular color is crimson, commanding, interesting, and enduring. If you were born on this day, people born on this day have a lot of influence and strength. You are a formidable foe, and there is much that you can accomplish when you channel your energy. Trust and ease are two qualities to cultivate. Practicing the art of receiving and allowing things to come to you are ways to develop these traits. Love rather than force will set you free. And so that is the color right there. So I thought that was fun. So I now have insights into everyone's birthday color personality. So thank you, B, for turning me on to this. All right, then I got, I'm not going to do a flip through. If you guys want to see flip throughs of any of these, let me know and I will show you. But I got Beginner's Guide to Blackwork by Leslie Wilkins. Isn't that gorgeous? Look at that. And this is full of blackwork motifs so that you can make your own blackwork pattern. And I just did my very first piece of blackwork in a pattern last week. I showed you guys my Anne Boleyn piece from Maximum Cross Stitch, and I fell in love. So more blackwork in my future for sure. Then I got Cross Stitch by the Sea from Ursula Michael. Over 35 designs in here. Sorry, glare. Front, here's the back. And there's, you know, I love the ocean, adore the ocean. So there's some really cute things in this book. And then Fantasy Cross Stitch, 60 Spellbinding Designs from Leslie Tier. And look at that. And they're really amazing pieces in here. I have to show you, there's a really good dragon in here. Look at this dragon. I want to do him. Look at that. Love him. So yeah, there's dragons, there's zodiac, there's fairies, there's mermaids, wizards. Look at this wizard. See, a good wizard. That's a good wizard. So, those came as part of my birthday, and I'm very excited about this. So, that was a long haul. Okay, I wanted to tell you guys, so I've decided starting next week, I'm going to start a new segment because I get a lot of comments and questions about my shelves, because there's lots of stuff on my shelves and you guys don't even see half of it. So each week for the next several weeks, I'm going to take a shelf and I'm going to do a feature of that shelf. I'll bring everything off of the shelf. I'll take a picture of it, put it up here of what it looks like normally, take everything down, and I'll kind of do an explanation of everything that's on that shelf. I'm going to start a pie with the ones that you guys don't normally see. I'll probably do that like towards the end after the stitching. So that you guys can look forward to for anyone that is interested in seeing those. If you're like me, I'm very curious about people's shelves, and like sometimes I'm paying more attention to what's behind them on their shelves. I want to definitely know what books are on their shelves. So I'm sure some of you are like that also. Okay, what I have been watching lately, so, you know, I go down these rabbit holes with cases that are currently going on. Sometimes I catch them after they've been out. Sometimes I'm watching them as they go. So right now I'm watching the Monica Cementilli case, and that is a trial in which she was married to Fabio Cementilli, who is actually like a really famous hairdresser, originally from Canada, and then moved down to California. And he was one of those people that was like loved by everyone. No enemies. This guy, everyone loved this guy. Like a big, huge personality. And so Monica had started having an affair with this guy named Robert Baker. And Robert Baker ended up her husband. And right now, he's already been charged. He's life in prison without parole, like plus 25 years. But the theory behind it, and after watching all the evidence, Monica has been accused of plotting this offing with her lover, as they continuously refer to him as throughout the trial. And I'm just like very interested in it. So that has been going on for, I think we're close to like day 40 of the trial. They're thinking it's going to be wrapping up here soon and we'll have a verdict. So I've been watching that, and then the Lori Daybell trial is starting. And so I am watching the coverage of that through Hidden True Crime. She is there and reporting every day. So like this week we did jury selection, and her reporting is very good. So I'm going to be starting to watch that. All right, like I told you guys, I took off the last half of this week. Did a lot of stitching, and that was very nice. See, I'm like a huge introvert, and I really require at least one day of every weekend where I don't leave the house and interact with anyone. And last weekend, that couldn't happen. So I went into the week already like drained. And then it was like every time I tried to start a project, I ran into a wall to where I had to wait for somebody else to come back from vacation for me to be able to continue. So I said, you know, I'm just going to take off the rest of this week, because I knew this weekend also every day I was going to have interactions with people. So I took off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And like I said, I primarily stitched that entire time, and it was wonderful. And then Friday night, my cousin Jason turned 40. And so there was a birthday party for him at a distillery that's like 10 minutes down the road. So went down for that, got to hang out with him. And then on Saturday, which was yesterday, we had my cousin's first birthday. And they're Greek, and so it was like a big fat Greek birthday, first birthday. Lots of people. There was calves there. There was real calves for taking pictures with. There was gonna be a petting zoo, but the weather was bad, so it was just the two calves. So they were there. There was a food truck to get the food from. It was all paid. You just went out and did your order. There was a cookie table. There was a bouncy. It was a big fat Greek birthday. So she was just absolutely adorable. So I had that yesterday. And then today, Cassidy and I are going to see Minecraft, which I'm totally, first of all, it looks funny. Like, genuinely, the movie looks funny. I don't play Minecraft, not into that at all. If the movie happens to be bad, Jason Momoa's in it, so I don't even care if it's bad, because I get to watch Jason Momoa throughout the entire thing. And then we plan on going to get dinner after that. Maybe Saga for hibachi, but we'll see. That's still up in the air right now. So that is my plan for the rest of this weekend. I will be working all of this week coming up. So yeah. All right. Like I said, this was a long one. So I hope you guys are doing great. I hope that you have plenty of time for stitching and for doing whatever your heart desires. All right, guys. I will catch up with you later. Bye.